A bill that will make Election Day a state holiday while simultaneously removing Lee Jackson Day as a state holiday has passed both chambers of the Virginia General Assembly. Senate Bill 601, which previously passed the state Senate by a vote of 22 to 18, passed the Virginia House of Delegates yesterday along party lines by a vote of 55 to 44. The bill, which is supported by Virginia's Democratic Governor, Ralph Northam, and was introduced by Virginia Democratic State Senator Louise Lucas, will now go to the governor's desk, where he is all but certain to sign the bill into law. A version of this same bill was proposed last year, but the Republican majority at the time killed the bill. Now that the Democrats have the majority in both chambers, the bill passed with ease. Lee Jackson Day is a state holiday that honors Confederate generals Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson. The day is celebrated with a wreath-laying ceremony, a Confederate-themed parade, and by closing all Virginia state offices. Now, after 100 plus years of state recognition of this holiday, Virginia Democrats have moved to put it in the history books along with the Confederacy itself. A majority of African Americans are offended by the holiday as much as they are offended by the statues and monuments erected during Jim Crow to honor Confederate generals that fought to keep their ancestors in the bondage of chattel slavery. Chattel slavery in America was brutal, barbaric, and shameful. Slaves could be beaten, tortured, raped, killed, and sold off by their owners without consequence because it was legal. Slaves were property, not humans in the eyes of the law at the time. Many of those that oppose this latest move by the Democrats will argue that the Civil War was not fought over slavery. Those folks that attempt to make that argument are historical revisionists. Out of the 11 states that succeeded from the Union, 5 of them, including Virginia, mentioned slavery as the cause for their secession from the Union. If that's not enough to prove that the Civil War was about slavery, here's the words of the Confederacy's Vice President, Alexander H. Stephens, at his famous cornerstone speech from March 21st, 1861, in Savannah, Georgia. Quote, "The new Constitution has put at rest forever all the agitating questions relating to our peculiar institutions, African slavery as it exists among us, the proper status quo of the Negro in our form of civilization. The general opinion of men of that day was that somehow or other, in the order of providence, the institution would be evanescent and pass away. Our new government is founded upon exactly the opposite ideas. Its foundations are laid, its cornerstone rests upon the great truth that the Negro is not equal to the white man, that slavery, subordination to the superior race, is his natural and normal condition." That quote, again, is from the Confederacy's Vice President, Alexander H. Stephens. So yes, the Civil War was fought over slavery. And yes, Generals Lee and Jackson were fighting for states' rights. The main right being to continue to own other human beings. Black human beings. Another argument you will hear from those that are against removing Lee Jackson Day as a holiday and that are against the removal of Confederate monuments from public places is that doing so is erasing history. This by far is the weakest and most foolish claim to date. What does a bronze or stone statue teach you about history that you can't read in a history book or research at your local library? The answer? Nothing. If anything, the statues and monuments distort history. Everyone knows who Hitler is and what he did. The Germans don't have grand statues in his honor in public places, do they? They don't have holidays to honor him, yet somehow we all know who he was. A statue doesn't teach history. A statue honors someone or something. The historical facts are written in history books and archived in libraries and government institutions. Another bill to allow localities to remove statues and monuments is still alive in the General Assembly. Governor Northam said he supports that bill as well, and if it comes across his desk, he will sign it into law. Breaking Through News is following that bill closely, and we will keep our viewers updated of its final disposition. In the Breaking Through Newsroom, Theodore Whitelow, Breaking Through News.